As a style consultant for almost 15 years, I see a ton of mistakes that guys make when it comes to their suits. In this video, I'm gonna tell you the top 10 and how you can fix them. Intro. You should come rolling my Now, before we get into the list, I created a free resource which covers the holy trinity of menswear. And by holy trinity, I'm referring to this area that's right under your face, since it's the part that gets the most attention. I'm referring to the lapels of the jacket, your shirt collar, and the tie, as those lead right up to your face. I put together 5 combinations that always work, and you can pick it up in the link below. It covers the shirt, the tie, the suit, and the pocket square. You can't possibly go wrong with it. Now let's talk suit mistakes. So as I was doing my research for this video, I found a few other examples of it, but a lot of them were very surface level. For example, they would say things like, make sure you remove the stitching that hold the vents together, or the breast pocket. That's good advice, but to me that's very elementary. So we're not going to be doing that with this video. We're going to get really in depth. Speaking of in depth, there were a couple that I came up with, but I didn't feel like they were worthy to be on the top 10. So we're going to call them the honorable mention. Number 1. That's buttoning both buttons of your jacket. Now that one is kind of elementary too, if I'm being honest, but I do see it all the time though, you know what I mean? So I feel like I should include it, right? And it's not just the suit jacket. Also, when people wear a 3-piece suit, I notice a lot of times they button all the buttons. So your suit jacket, let's say it has 2 buttons, the bottom button should never be buttoned. And if you're wearing a vest, also the bottom button should never be buttoned. Even in a double-breasted suit, the most popular configuration is a 6x2. So you should only be buttoning the middle button as well. You shouldn't be buttoning the one at the bottom. And the second honorable mention is having the label on the sleeve. That one also kind of elementary, but I just saw somebody with that the other day, so had to include it in there as well. So you definitely don't want that on there. I know Gucci, a couple years ago, they came out with one where it was purposely done that way. Tacky as hell, if you ask me. I don't care that it says Gucci on there. We just want to see if the suit fits you right. Now let's get into the top 10. Mistake number 1 is having nothing but 4-season suits. Don't get me wrong, 4-season suits are important. Typically, your most serious suits are going to be 4-season suits. But nothing sets you apart more than when the fabric that you're wearing matches the season that you're in. That's one of the things that separate the men from the boys. So when it's hot, you wear breathable fabrics like linen and fresco. And when it's cold, you wear fabrics that are heavier like flannel and tweed. Not only are you going to be much more comfortable, but it's going to look like you actually put some thought into it and you're wearing a different wardrobe depending on the season. Being from New York, originally I used to only wear 4-season fabrics. And the issue that I ran into was I was always too hot in the summer and too cold in the winter. So in the summer, I thought maybe not wearing a tie would solve my issues. It didn't. And in the winter, I thought just wearing a coat over my 4-season suits would also solve the issue. It didn't. Mistake number 2, just wearing the suit with no alterations. And I'm definitely guilty of that. I remember the first suit that I bought when I got a job that was client-facing. More on that later. But I just wore the suit out with no alteration. I had no idea that you had to go to a tailor first and have the tailor alter the suit for you. So if you look at this picture here, you can see how the pants are too long, and you can see how you can't even see the sleeve of the shirt underneath the jacket sleeves. So those are little things like that the tailor would be able to help you out with. So don't think that because it's your size off the rack that is going to fit you great with no alterations. I only know one dude that would buy his size from a certain suit maker and that would fit him perfectly every time. The rest of us mere mortals, whenever we buy suits, we do have to get it altered. So if your budget is, let's say, $500, you have to think that $100 is probably going to go towards alterations. So instead of shopping for a suit that costs $500, maybe shop for a suit that costs $400. Doesn't really matter what the number is, but just make sure that you have some money set aside for alterations, because 9 out of 10 times, you won't be able to wear it the way it is off the rack. So a size 44, for example, is not going to fit everybody who wears a size 44. There are different alterations that has to be done depending on your frame. Which takes us to suit mistake number 3, and that's wearing the wrong colors. But not just the wrong colors, also the wrong patterns. Right now, for example, I'm wearing a brown suit, a dark brown suit. But I wouldn't really advise a guy to start with a dark brown suit. I think that if you're just getting into suits and you're slowly building your closet, I would start with navy and different shades of gray before I even think about those type of other colors that I wear. A lot of guys, they start running before they even learn how to crawl or even learn how to walk. But that's not the way that it's supposed to work. You're supposed to have suits that are versatile. That way, when you wear it a couple times, people don't really know that it's the same suit. You switch the shirt, you switch the tie, and no one's the wiser. Speaking of the suit that I was talking about before, my first serious suit, you can call it, it was the right color. It was a navy suit. But where I went wrong was it was a pinstripe suit. Now, you can't have your first suit be a pinstripe suit because whenever you put that suit on, everybody's going to know it's the same suit. So a suit like that is going to stand out a lot more than, let's say, a plain navy. So you definitely want to start with the plain one. That way you have all your bases covered as far as the basics. And then after like 5 or 6, you can start to venture out into more patterns and different colors, etc. Now, as we all know, a suit is made out of 2 parts. The jacket and the trousers. The most visible part, obviously, is going to be the jacket. Like, look at me now. You guys can't even see my trousers. So we're going to talk about the jacket first. But trust me, we'll get to the trousers. Mistake number 4, it's a jacket that has close quarters as opposed to open quarters. Now, this one is more of a style choice. But I must say, I've never seen a guy look better in close quarters than they do in open quarters. For those of you who aren't familiar, that area under the buttoning point are called the quarters. They're also referred to as the skirt. So when I'm referring to open quarters, it means that you can draw a straight line from the right shoulder all the way down to the left skirt, as well as drawing a straight line from the left shoulder all the way down to the right skirt, so forming an X. That's your open quarter style jacket. Close quarters is shaped more like a Y. Where the lines don't crisscross, it actually goes straight down under the button. In my opinion, open quarters jackets are always more flattering. Number 1, it helps with the rule of thirds, meaning your trousers take about 2/3 of your body as opposed to your torso. And it just looks better. Like, look at these 2 pictures side by side. Which one do you think looks better? If you pick the X, then you have a good eye for this. If you pick the Y, got some work to do. Speaking of having some work to do, I have a program called Well Dressed, where I help guys be the best dressed in any room. If you're tired of experimenting and watching free YouTube videos and try to guess and piece information together, click the link in the description and answer a couple questions to see if you're a good fit. My guys in there are seeing some of the best transformations. Suit mistake number 5, that's wearing suit jackets with skinny lapels. As I was saying before, the most important part of your outfit is the Holy Trinity. So your lapels play a really big part of that because that's the part of the suit jacket that people see when they're looking at your face. And a lot of guys are stuck in the 90s or 2000s with these really skinny lapels that's not doing them any favors. So when you wear wider lapels, it definitely makes you look manlier because it has more of a presence to it. And it's also timeless, so you don't really look at it and say, damn, that suit is from such and such era. You know, when you wear lapels like I wear, nobody can tell what year that jacket is from because that's a timeless way of wearing a suit jacket. A lot of times, guys would ask me the brands that I recommend, and I would tell them, and they would say, then why can't I just go to the mall and get something that fits? The problem with a lot of the suits that you can get from the department stores at your local mall is that they are designed a certain way. So the lapels are going to be a certain size. The quarters are going to be cut a certain way. And those things, no matter how good your tailor is, they won't be able to fix them because the aesthetic of the suit is dated. So I'd say you want your lapels to be at least 3.5 inches. Personally, I wear between a 4-inch to a 4.25 lapel. All right, we're halfway there, so let's get to suit mistake number 6. And that's wearing your jackets too short. One style that's very flattering on women is when their jackets are shorter and ends right above their waist. But I see guys try to do the same thing, man. I remember I was reading GQ magazine back when I was really into it, right? They mentioned how your jacket should be shorter. And I remember taking my jacket to get altered. Like I took it to a tailor and asked the tailor to shorten the jacket for me. Like that's just nonsense, you know what I mean? Another one, I was minding my business one time and I saw this guy on Instagram where he said you want to show about 1 inch of ass. Those were his exact words. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, man. Like, what? You don't want to show no ass, bro. Your suit jacket should cover your whole seat. You're not a girl. So enough about the suit jacket. Let's talk about suit mistake number 7. Not paying enough attention to your trousers. As I was saying before, it's obvious that the most visible part of the suit is the jacket. But what happens is a lot of guys neglect the pants. A suit is made of 2 parts, so your attention should be split 50-50. But yet, it's like an afterthought to a lot of guys. And it's not just 50%. If you're following the rule of thirds, like I was saying before, it's 66%. I'll talk more about the rule of thirds in another video. But your trousers are just as important as your jacket, if not more so. But guys don't even really give it that much thought. They don't think about the rise. They don't think about pleats. They don't think about cuffs. They don't think about how wide the hem should be. All these things are crucial. So to wrap up rule number 7, make sure you're paying a lot of attention to them just as much as you do the jacket. Suit mistake number 8. This one is very underrated, but a lot of guys just leave their suit in the same plastic hanger that it was shipped in. Pretty bad idea. Especially a lot of the hangers that the suits come with are horrible. I mean, they're not really meant to be good anyway, just for them to transport the suit. So what I recommend is to have wooden hangers, but not just any wooden hanger. You want the hangers to be the same size as the suit jacket. That way, the shoulders will be able to hang on the hanger the way that it's supposed to. What happens is, a lot of those plastic hangers, they're going to be too small for the jacket. So now, the shoulder of the jacket is hanging past the hanger when the suit is in your closet. That's a recipe for disaster. I get my hangers from Utterton, London, and they source their hangers from the Kata Hangers, which is a Japanese brand. And they come in different sizes depending on your suit jacket, and you can get one that fits exactly the way that it's supposed to. That way, when you're not wearing the suit, it's well taken care of. It's one of those little things that guys don't really think about, but suits aren't cheap, man. So if you're spending money on your suits, put some of that money towards good hangers that's going to make your suit last longer. Suit mistake number 9, that's not wearing a pocket square. The pocket square is one of those little things that could really elevate your suit. I remember I went to work one time back when I worked in the office and I forgot to wear a pocket square. I had the worst day. I couldn't stop thinking about how I forgot to grab a pocket square. It just drove me crazy the whole day. I almost went home early. So you definitely want to make sure that you use a pocket square whenever you're wearing a suit. Suit mistake number 10, that's wearing bad shoes with your suit. I couldn't tell you how many guys, whenever we're putting their budgets together, they'll budget everything, the suit, the shirt, the tie, and then whatever's left over, that's when they want to talk about their shoes. And if you're wearing a good suit, but you're wearing bad shoes, it's the equivalent of washing your hands, but drying them on the dirty floor. Another example of good suit with bad shoes is like having a nice house on a weak foundation. And I don't have to tell you what happens when the foundation is weak. So if you want to elevate your suit game, make sure you're wearing nice shoes. And speaking of shoes, there's one big mistake that most guys make that stops them from looking stylish. I made a video about it. You can check it out here.